Hey everyone, Corey here and welcome to part 4 of the walk warm-up series. And today we're going to be focusing on coordination that's very similar to walking patterns. Let's get started. We're going to start by just warming up with some isometrics. So what I want you to do is push both feet down into the ground, like you're increasing the pressure of your foot down into the floor or into your shoe, and then relax. Push it down, relax, push both down, and relax. Now switch just to the right. Push the right one down, make it heavy. And then we're going to switch. Push the left one down, make it heavy. Right, adding that pressure into our foot, into the floor. Left, alternating pressure, make it heavy on one side, and then heavy on the other side. One more, increase that pressure on one side, and then switch to the other side. Good, bring both hands together. Now press both hands in towards one another, increasing the pressure of your palms and fingertips into one another, and then relax it. Press in, find that pressure. Can you feel the pressure increase in certain areas in your hand? And relax. One more. And relax. Good. Now let's go a little bit of range of motion. Start down at the feet. I want both heels lifting away from your footprint or away from the floor and back down. Lifting that heel and elevating it up and down. From your heel, rocking to that ball of your foot. One more. Now alternate this pattern. Lift one, lower, and then lift the other. Switching. Can you coordinate that movement? They're both moving at the same time, stopping at the same time, but going in opposition of one another. Let's go for a couple more. And bring them both down. Good. Now let's work our way up the chain. Let's just take our hips and take everything with us. We're going to kind of just circle around. Finding your right side, finding the front, connecting with our buttocks and our legs into the chair. And really just work on seeing if you can find the pressure in certain parts of your body. So all the way on one side, all the way to the back, like your tailbone, switching to the other side, and kind of more into the thighs. Now let's try to switch that direction. Move that pelvis with the rest of the body in that circular motion. Take note if you can feel pressure changing from one side to different body parts. And we're going to come back to center. Work our way up to the shoulders like we did before. We're going to elevate both and bring them down. Bringing those shoulders up to our ears or up to the ceiling. Now be careful, we don't want to like crunch our neck in, so think about those shoulders going straight up or up and out versus directly into our neck. Now this one's a little bit hard to do. I'm fine if you kind of just raise those elbows and get those shoulders to kind of come up with it. I'll let you kind of choose. Now we're going to alternate. I'm going to do the one without elbows. I'm going to lift one, and as I lower, I'm lifting the other one. Now this one, we want to make sure we're not shifting left and right of what we're looking at. Try to stay center with it and just work on getting some range of motion into that shoulder, which we're going to use a little bit more. A couple more, and bring everything down. Now let's move into the spine. Take your head, look at something, and just turn left to right of it. Or just focusing on side to side movement. We're getting that motion out of our C-spine, our cervical spine. And then we're going to channel down to the T-spine. So you can always put your hand here and work on turning your hands side to side. And notice this movement is not huge, but we want the head to stay stacked as we rotate side to side. Get a couple more in and relax. Now let's work on shifting left and right. Look at something and move to one side of it, and then to the other side. You can also think about making one buttocks heavier than the other. Now, good rule of safety is always have your hands on your chair. This is best to be on something that might be a little bit wider so you can brace your hands, or have something by you like a wall that you can shift towards. Making one butt cheek heavier than the other. Getting that weight shift side to side of what you're looking at. Now let's add in some of those heel lifts. So just do a couple. You can alternate. You can do them both at the same time. What I want you to do, as you're shifting to one side, you're letting that hip and that foot raise up, kind of lifting away from the ground in the chair, and then you're going to bring it back down. We're going to do 2 more of these. Peeling that heel away from the footprint and shifting that pelvis over. We're going to go to the other side. Make that opposite butt cheek nice and heavy. Peel away that heel. Bring everything back to center. And back. One more. And back. Now let's alternate. So shifting and lifting that heel. And as I go to one way, I'm bringing everything off the floor or chair with me. I don't want to get stuck and just move my spine. Get that butt cheek to be nice and light, lifting that heel. Now, as you do this, we're going to start adding in that arm swing. Not a big movement of shifting. Now can you coordinate? Now everything on one side kind of lifts up and away, and then it comes back to meet the ground and floor and chair, and then you're going to switch that. Nice and easy. Focus on one side of the body gets a lot more pressure. The other side of the body becomes nice and light. Focus on your range of motion. What helps you? Lifting everything up towards the ceiling and shifting. One more. Good. Now let's go back into a little bit of ankle range of motion. I want you to lift and lower, peeling that heel away from your footprint and then back down. 2 more. Now we're going to add in a weight shift. Thinking about our pelvis. I want you to think about that pelvis of yours being a bucket of water, and you're pouring that bucket of water down to the floor, and then you're bringing that bucket of water back to level. So this is just a visualization cue. And then we're going to lift the heels. Pour the pelvis over. Lift the heels. Now let's try to start making this kind of coordinate together. So as the pelvis starts to tilt forward, we bring the heels down. And as we level the pelvis for that bucket of water, we lift the heels up. If it helps, look at something more down to the floor and work on tilting away from it and tilting towards it. And this exercise is great because we're getting our pelvis to move around our legs more. We can keep that straight line from your head to your tailbone and tilt it towards the floor and away as you lift and lower those heels. 2 more. Last one. And bring it down. Ground yourself, push your feet into the floor, hands into the chair. Let's keep going with the coordination, and let's work on adding a step into it, or heel strike. So heel strike, foot back into the footprint. Let's do 2 more on this side, 3 total. Switch to the other side, strike that heel, strike that heel. Last one. Good. Now let's switch back to the other leg, strike that heel, and we're gonna rotate towards it. My head and my chest are turning towards that foot as I reach out. Let's hold this here. Turn and rotate. You can always look at something and think that you're turning to the side of it, or if this is your right or left side, turning in that direction. Getting that sternum, that chest, or that heart to rotate away from what you're looking at. One more. Now let's add in that heel strike. See if we can strike the heel, and your leg doesn't have to be all the way straight. You can just get one foot in front of the other and rotate towards it. Good. Strike and rotate. Notice I'm getting that arm out there. I'm rotating that palm or that fist up to the ceiling, up to what I'm looking at. Good. Two more. Last one. Let's switch it over. Just work on striking that heel. Let's just do 3 total. Play around with your range. Hold it here. Now think about the head to the heart, rotating as you reach that hand, and then rotate back to center. Rotate back to center. Turn to the side of what you're looking at. Let's do one more. And now let's add into that step. So strike that heel, rotate. Strike and turn to the side of what you're looking at. Good. 2 more. Last one. Nice. Now let's alternate those. I want you to figure out, do you want to start with a heel strike, or do you want to get that rotation involved a little bit more? Start with that. And again, we're going to rotate to the side that we're stepping with, or the side that we're striking that heel. You can think about turning your heart towards that foot, and then turning your heart towards the opposite foot. And I'm going to work on bringing those arms up towards what I'm looking at, or having that hand move away from that striking foot, move away from that striking foot. Let's go about 2 more on each side. Figure out which one you really need to focus on. Start there, and then adding in back to those pieces with that arm swing, rotation, or step. Shake it out. Nice work. Let's get right into it. Let's just lift and lower one heel away from the floor and back into it. And again, you can use that, thinking about that pressure, releasing some of that pressure under your foot, or think about your footprint, pulling your heel out from your footprint and back in. Go for a couple more, find the range of motion and or speed that you like. Now just switch to the other side, lifting that heel out of your footprint and back in. Stay stacked on that opposite side. My head to my tailbone is over towards my right foot right now. Might be your left. One more. Okay, this one's a little bit difficult because you're going up into the balls of your feet. So having 2 hands might be better than one to use for balance. You're just going to lift your both heels away and back in. Pulling both heels out of your footprint and coming back into it. I want you to do a couple more of these. Go to a range of motion that you can feel comfortable with maintaining your balance. If you feel a little wobbly, look at something and focus on it. Now lift both. Now as you bring one heel down, you're going to bend that opposite knee. Come back to center. Heel down, bend the opposite. So we're alternating that movement pattern that's very similar to walking, from our toes all the way up to our hips. Now I won't put this in front of me the whole time, but it's great to do this exercise with a chair in front of you. So if you see me like this, I want you to pretend I'm holding on to my imaginary chair, but I want you to hold on to your regular chair. Good, hold here. So what I want to do is I'm going to alternate. As I come up and go to one side, I'm going to lift that arm. So I got a diagonal, two limbs swinging through. Come back to the top and lift. Play around with which arm you want to start swinging first. And this is going to be a little bit more of a balance challenge. So if you need to go up, down and control it, lift that arm, do so. Or start swinging that arm as you lift and lower. Let's do two more of these. Lift and bring everything to center. Good. Okay, we're gonna get that pelvis up to our head, involved a little bit, and trying to get in some more rotation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stack everything over to one side from head to tailbone, all the way over. And you can keep one hand on your hip, and then think about bringing that hip towards that foot that you're stacking on, and then bringing everything to center and relaxing onto both feet. Stack over to one side and rotate. Work at this. Now it's helpful for me if I look at something straight ahead and I focus on shifting to one side of it and rotating towards it. And again, we really want to get that pelvis involved. So if you want to bring your hand on top of that pelvis, I kind of feel that pelvis move that hand over to that opposite foot, do so. So you're getting a little bit more rotation in and out of that leg that you're stacking on. Now, let's add an arm swing. We're just going to do this till the same. Same side. Lift and rotate away. Rotate and stack. Lift it up. You can think about also if you're using your hand for stability, you're rotating your body towards that hand that's on the chair or foam roller. One more. Okay, now I'm going to add in step into this. So this is a great way to use your chair in front of you if you want to. I'm not going to use anything. Use yours if you need to. So I'm going to do a very small side step, not something big and huge, because if it's big and huge, I can't necessarily stack all the way over it like I would if I wanted to walk. So I want to take a little bit of step out to the side of what I'm looking at, and then I'm going to rotate and slightly reach. I like it if you can bring that hand across body, kind of like you're crossing the intersection of where that foot is pointing. Small step, work on that pelvis and the rest of your body shifting over to one side. Let's get one more in. There you go. Now switch sides. Start with rotating and shifting and stacking over to one side and getting that pelvis even all the way down to your foot to join the party. Getting that little bit of a pivot motion. Again, we're just working on our pelvis, moving around that stationary leg. And when you're ready, add in that arm swing, crossing that imaginary line that your foot is making and pointing towards. Seeing if you can cross the midline of your nose and or your sternum. I want you to try to get two more of these in. Again, really focus on stacking, because if we don't stack, this other portion of our body won't be able to move freely. Now let's get a little bit of a step in. So step, rotate towards that foot that you just stepped with, and reach across. A lot of rotation going on right here. Even a little bit in towards our shoulder as we're reaching and swinging that arm up and above, away from the floor. Now keep your eyes focused on something. Try not to be looking here, there, and everywhere, because then that can make our balance a little bit more difficult, a little bit more harder to maintain it. That pelvis going, use that hand over here, and then reach if you need to. We've done a lot on this side, but let's keep going. Just giving you some options. And last one. Okay? Safety first. Let's try to alternate. Chair, I'm gonna pretend like this is my chair. I'm gonna keep it in front of me if I need it to use my hands. So we're gonna step rotate towards that step. Center. Stack over that foot and rotate towards it. Step and stack. A bigger plus is you can keep this foot and leg from turning outward. We're going to keep it straight. Keep it pointing towards that wall that you're looking at, and then rotate around that wall. Reaching that palm up. Smaller step because we want to be able to get our whole body over it from our head towards our tailbone. And get one more in here. Good. Now we did one like we're going to do right now in a previous walk warm-up, which was more about the pelvis and the legs. We're going to go back to this one because it's very important to really get that pelvis to hinge over our legs. So I'm going to give you my side profile. You're going to take hands on the chair, hands on your foam roller, or even hands on the wall. And you're just going to tilt your pelvis. So think about it being a bucket of water and tilt it to where it's spilling. And then it's becoming more level. Spill it out, tilting and rotating towards the floor and then up and away from the floor. Go to a range that you feel comfortable with and really try to keep your footprint the same. Instead of like shifting, tilting so much and our butt going this way and our feet lifting, try to maintain that footprint that you have. Not a lot of weight shifting going on in this one because we want to keep our feet and legs nice and stable. Okay. Let's do one more. Tilt that pelvis over towards the floor and bring it back. Now what I'm going to do here, a little bit of a balancing act. So I've got my foam roller slightly in front of me. Make sure I'm in camera angle. I'm going to do that little bit of a step. And I'm going to tilt. And as I tilt, I'm just going to bring my hand over that foot. And we're going to keep this because we're going to a little bit of a rock. Tilt and reach. Keep your eyes on something and focus on it. Tilt and reach. One more. Tilt and reach. Good. Now keep shifting your weight. We're not going to tilt the pelvis anymore. We're going to keep that pelvis nice and level. We're keeping that bucket of water from sloshing and tilting over. Focus on that. Hand on your hip if you need to. No more tilting here. We're just bringing it over that front leg. And now we're going to go into that slight rotation of our upper body and shifting back and forth. I'm going to give you my front profile so you see it. So here I'm keeping that pelvis level and I'm rocking from one foot to the other. Find your footprint. Now keep this one here. Stay stacked on that side. And we're just going to swing. Kind of challenge your balance on this side. Find a range of motion that's comfortable with your arm. And find a speed. And let's go into 5 more. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Rest it. Now let's switch it up. I'm going to stay pointed this way. So you're going to bring that 1 foot forward, ever so slight. Now remember, if we're trying to do some walking mechanics, we want to take a big enough step, but a small enough step that our body can stack over that front foot. If I take a huge step here and I try to go here and lift, I'm going to kind of, my center of gravity is not pushing over that foot. So just get it a little bit in front of the other one and work on shifting back and forth. Back foot heavy, front foot heavy. Switching that back and forth, finding that pressure in your foot. We're going to work on tilting the pelvis. Find that front foot and just do a little bit of tilt. It doesn't have to be all the way down here. Tilt that bucket of water and bring it back. Tilt that bucket of water and back. Let's do 2 more of these. Again, that pelvis is rotating over that front leg just a hair. Showing you what it looks like around the joint. Now keep that bucket of water nice and level, no splashing out, and just shift to that front foot. Make it heavy. If you need to think about stacking over it, head to tailbone, or get your bucket of water over that front foot as well as that head. Okay, we're gonna add that arm swing in there. Even when you focus on swinging that arm, I want you to focus on keeping that bucket of water, your pelvis, from splashing around. That might actually help you more with your balance and keep everything nice and stable in the lower portion of our body. Now hold here and just swing up and down. Keep that bucket of water nice and level. If you want to challenge yourself, you can start with swinging both. I'm just going to do one, but giving you options. Really focus on keeping my bucket of water nice and level. I'm looking at a visual target and I'm trying to stay in line with it. I'm not shifting back and forth of it. A couple more. And bring everything back to center. Today was about coordination, but importantly, building up towards that coordination. Working in just one joint and then adding in other joints to make it a little bit more complex and very similar to walking. So if you ever feel like your coordination is off, try with one joint first, like I'm moving my shoulder right here, and then adding in another joint. So as I swing, I'm gonna rotate my T-spine. So it's important to build up, to really get that coordination going and letting our brain understand what parts of the body we need to use. So I hope this series was helpful for you. Even if it's just one little thing like the footprint or the movement flow that we just did, try to incorporate just bits and pieces as a little warm-up before you get out there and go for your walk.